This is NR2003 Predicts. Using constantly updating ratings, we determine where Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series drivers will place at any given track any given week. Standard disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only, using the process of artificial intelligence, and should not be used in the process of gambling. So here's how it works. We update drivers' ratings week by week as we go throughout the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series schedule. We run a 100% simulation with normal tire wear and fuel consumption. Qualifying results match what the drivers actually ran in real life. Because qualifying data can't be arranged at the same time as forcing cautions, stages will not be enforced throughout these races. And weather used reflects the real-time data based on the actual start time of the race. Kyle Busch with his first pole of the season. He starts next to Joey Logano. He has to race him for a playoff spot. Green flag here at ISM Raceway. And immediately, 3 wide on the inside is Denny Hamlin, followed by Kyle Larson. 2 drivers below the cut line, and they're still 3 wide going down the backstretch. Logano with a little bit of an advantage going into the turn, but up there in the high line. Traction compound not ready to be used yet, although he's sticking in there. 3 wide still going through with the start-finish line. Man, they are keeping it tight, and so is the rest of this pack as we watch down the front straightaway, heading into turn 1. And this time the low line's going to work for Denny Hamlin. The 11 car charged to the front, gets ahead of Kyle Busch, who has won the last 2 races here. Meanwhile, for Kevin Harvick, he's a 9-time winner at this racetrack. Most recently got the win prior to Kyle Busch's back-to-back victories here, and also the most recent winner of the playoffs. Got the win at Texas. That moves him onto the championship 4, so he is locked in. Jimmy Johnson's got a few wins here himself. Hasn't won here, though, since 2009. And obviously, he's just trying to finish out the season. He had a great run going at Texas until he ended up crashing out. Looking to see if he can translate that speed over here into today's race. For Ryan Newman, this was the site of his last victory in the Cup Series, 2017, in the March race. Trying to see what he can do here today, but he is running a little bit further back in the field. Charging up on the inside would be the 22 car of Joey Logano. Trying to see what he can do to catch back up to the front of this pack. He's won a couple times here, most recently in 2016. But obviously he's trying to race Kyle Busch for a playoff spot as he runs now in 3rd position as his brother Kurt has gone around him. Victory here for Kurt back in 2005. Trying to see if he can track down Denny Hamlin, who has gotten really far out in front and is holding a couple seconds worth of lead. You can see that gap. Gotten a little closed by the 1 car, but Hamlin's still out in front. Got a victory here in 2012 and needs a victory essentially to get himself clinched into the championship 4. Obviously, a win does clinch you in, but he has to try to pass up both Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. Going to be a little hard on points, but might be able to do it. For Chase Elliott, he has to win. It's an absolute lock that he has to win today, but in the 10th position, he is not doing too well right now. Just the luck of a couple of bad finishes in the first 2 races of the round. Ryan Blaney doesn't have to win necessarily, but he does have to make up some points, and he is not inside the top 10 right now. He is not going to get stage points at the end of lap 75 if he keeps up where he is right now. Kyle Larson doing a little bit better. He's in the 6th position, but obviously racing against Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, both inside the top 10, he's going to have to do a lot better. And if the race trends the way it is right now, he'll have to gain some more speed to go for the victory. 42 car trying to see what he can do to get Ganassi their first championship 4 after getting them into the round of 8 for the first time. Eric Jones has worked his way up into the top 3, trying to track down Kurt Busch. Jones has had an absolutely dismal set of playoffs, not just the round he was eliminated in. He's still last among the playoff drivers, even after the points have been reset back to their original 2,000 points. Now trying to see what he can do to gain some points today. Brad Keselowski up here in the top 10. He got eliminated last round, obviously. Just trying to see what he can do to go ahead and get a victory here himself. John Hunter Nemechek back in the field today in the 36 car. Had a solid run at Texas in his debut in the Cup Series. Finished 21st place. Not having that same speed here today. He's already gone a lap down. Here's another driver about to go a lap down, William Byron. This is a bit of a surprise to see him so far back. And Daniel Suarez also. They are running inside the 20s. On the leaderboard, very uncharacteristic for one of the former playoff drivers. And we're going to see right here, here comes Hamlin in for a pit stop. He'll be one of the first front runners to come down. You see Matt DiBenedetto just in front of him was about to go a lap down. but he'll come in first, and Kevin Harvick's going to follow suit after leading a couple of laps. When everything cycles out, though, it's going to be Denny Hamlin out in front by a few seconds. And you can see double-digit lead over third place and the rest of the field. So the 11 car not only getting an advantage with coming in early on the pit stops, but has a lot of speed in that car. And you can see Kurt Busch running in the runner-up spot. Just a lot of lap traffic in his way. Oh, contact possibly right there. Possible contact between Busch and McDowell as the one car got really loose in the corner. Lucky to save that one, but that was quite a save by the one car trying to stay in the hunt. David Reagan, he's up here in the top 10. This is a very good run for the front row motorsports machine. Obviously, Reagan just about to retire from full-time racing. He's trying to put up a good performance in one of his last starts. Clint Boyer is about to go a lap down on the hands of Denny Hamlin. Another former playoff driver having some trouble. And it looks like Alex Bowman also going to be about to fall victim to the 11 car, having a lot of speed and no cautions yet this race. And that's obviously putting a little bit of work in the 11 car's hands to put cars a lap down. Meanwhile, as Hamlin runs in the lead, this is a big fight for these two drivers that are trying to get stage points and finishing in front of each other. But we're going to have a problem right here. John Hunter Nemechek turns Corey LaJoie in front of a huge pack of cars, including playoff drivers. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano in the middle of that mess. Kyle Larson as well. And there's even more contact back there further in the field. Looking at this, Daniel Suarez gets in there late. Kevin Harvick drives right by. Lucky for him not to get involved. Oh, and the 41's going to get clipped by the 38, and Chase Elliott drives right into it, and that is going to effectively end his playoff hopes. And Martin Truex Jr. might have gotten a hit as well. We saw the 41 go airborne off the front end of the 21 car. That's going to take out 5 different cars in this accident. We go back to the restart, and it's going to be Hamlin out in front. You can see Newman, he is trying to get a little bit of an advantage out there, get his lap back, but we see Harvick getting to the inside of Kurt Busch, going for the second position. Now trying to track down Denny Hamlin for the lead. And with the 11 car on the outside of a lapped car, here comes the 4 car to the bottom line, and they're side by side for the lead. This will change the complexion of the playoffs entirely because Harvick already has that victory from Texas. Hamlin needs to get that victory to try to beat out the drivers in front of him, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney making his appearance inside the top 10 finally, but a little bit too late for him as he needs to go for a victory, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to track them down. Kyle Larson has his hood off. That's how much damage he took in that accident. Chase Elliott also has a bit of a battle scar on his left side. Both of those drivers got heavy damage, and it looks like both of their playoff hopes are going to be done after this one. They just aren't going to have the speed to try to track down some of our front runners. Joey Logano got up to third place, but with Harvick out in front, that's obviously going to be a little bit of a change in how they approach this race because obviously as long as the 11 car isn't leading, even though he won both of those stages, he is not going to gain too much ground on Busch and Logano based on them also running stage points. Meanwhile, William Byron, we talked about him being so far down the leaderboard, but it turns out as soon as they got that caution, he has found that speed, made the adjustments on the pit stops, and he's worked his way up through the cars that have gone a lap down, which has obviously been a ton of them. Alex Bowman, not one of those lapped cars. He is still on the lead lap and has worked his way into the top 10, so at least one of the Hendrick cars having a good day today. Looking backward from Kevin Harvick, he has not been able to pull away from Denny Hamlin, who continues to be within a second of him as they run around the racetrack. Now Harvick's going to try to put down the 43 car a lap, and we saw what happened with Bubba Wallace earlier in the weekend. Openly admitted that he had brought out the caution last week, spinning his car around at Texas to a reporter. That ended up in a 50-point and $50,000 fine. NASCAR definitely sending a message as we see now Kurt Busch coming down for a pit stop. He's going to be one of the first top 10 competitors to come down. Kevin Harvick will then come down, but he's going to hand over the lead to Denny Hamlin, who actually stretches it quite a few laps past when Harvick pitted. I feel like that might have had something to do with the traffic that was to his inside. He just couldn't find his way to pit lane. And ultimately, that's going to give Harvick a huge lead over the 11 car, who still slots into the second position. You can see the gap, 7+ seconds over Denny Hamlin as Harvick has really taken control of this race. Hamlin, who led so much of the first part of this one, wishing that he had a little bit of that time back. Probably wishing he came down a little earlier, unless he's trying to do some strategy. Could be trying to play this fuel window all the way to the end, but that's going to be a huge stretch and going to require a lot more saving. Meanwhile, we see Joey Logano back here in the 5th position. He is obviously going to have to try to hold down his fort. So is Kyle Busch as he's behind the 9 car. Both of them should be safe as long as the 11 car doesn't get the victory. They should be looking forward to the championship for now, because it seems like as long as this lead stays intact, both of them are going to Homestead. Chris Buescher up here in the top 10. He's about to go a lap down to Harvick, but impressive run by the 37 driver. Looking forward to next season when he's with Roush Fenway Racing. Meanwhile, here comes Kevin Harvick up on Kyle Busch. He's about to put him a lap down. Quite the run for the 4 car, but a little bit unusual to see the 18 car going a lap down. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, he's closing in on the 4 car, actually. I wonder if that was also part of the strategy by coming in later. The tire wear is going to be a little bit on the 11 car's side, although he did have to make up the advantage that Harvick got by coming in early. And we see William Byron is coming in. This is scheduled. They are coming down for gas because they don't believe they're going to make it to the end. Here comes Harvick. He is going to come down for his stop and try to get that fuel. Try to make sure that they get to the end of this race. But we're going to have a problem right here. Jimmy Johnson into the quarter panel of Landon Castle. Turns him in turns 1 and 2. Castle goes for a spin. That brings out the caution. Hamlin has not pitted yet. And you can see all the cars that are a lap down. Chris Buescher stays on the lead lap. But then something interesting happens. Hamlin does not stop right here. He is still out on the racetrack, as well as Chris Buescher. Unbelievable that they didn't come down to get fuel while they were under caution, and Chris Buescher put into the wall by Joey Logano. Obviously, the cars that had come down for a pit stop had gotten those fresh tires. 22 car had a lot more speed than 37, puts him in the wall. Now Denny Hamlin 4 wide. Cars trying to go around him, get back on the lead lap, hoping that a caution comes out so that they can get back to the 11 car. Still unbelievable that the 11 did not come down for fuel. If he runs out, this could be a great situation for the 4 car as long as the 37 also runs out. He is out there in 3rd position, the front runners of those that had come down for a pit stop to get fuel. However, here comes the 11 car around for the final time. He is not stopping, so he is going to try to stretch this one. Coming around turns 3 and 4, he's going to see the white flag right here. He needed a victory to pass up Kyle Busch and Joey Logano in the points. And this is a very unorthodox way of getting that done. Unsure why they didn't stop right there. I don't know if he thought that he was going to have a little bit of a difficulty getting around the 37 car, but obviously that shouldn't be a problem. The 11 car definitely more dominant in the performance. But this is going to make the playoff picture very interesting. As you can see, he is still under power. He stretches the fuel, and the 11 car coming around turn 4 is going to get the victory here. Denny Hamlin wins at ISM. That is quite the statement victory. Did it with a way that we didn't expect. Think that is pretty unnecessary to do it in, but he still gets the victory. Chris Buescher ends up in the 2nd position, also makes it work, even though Kevin Harvick, look at the time he made up. Only 11 seconds back, almost 4 seconds between him and the 37 to get another spot. But ultimately, Hamlin will join Harvick and Truex Jr., and then it comes down to who got the stage points between Kyle Busch and Joey Logano to see who will advance both of them, as the gap going into the race was pretty small. We see some of the other drivers a little further back gotten lapped. William Byron got all the way back up to 14th position. That's great for him. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson damaged in that accident. 22nd and 24th for them. Very bad days to see them go through. Ryan Preece also running a bit subpar. Might have gotten a piece of that accident as well. Daniel Hemrick definitely had some damage on his race car, as well as John Hunter Nemechek, who kind of started the whole incident. He ends up in the 34th position right after his great Texas run. That is it for NR2003 Predicts. We hope you enjoy the race, and we will see you all next time.